The Allied forces initially agreed to a treaty that was called the Treaty of Sèvres in 1920, which effectively handed Turkey over to the Brits. Effectively, the treasury, the politics, the police would be given over to the Brits. But a faction of Turks rebelled against this. And that faction was led by that dashing general who had become famous in the War of Gallipoli, and his name is, well, his name is not Ataturk, his name is Mustafa Kemal. And Mustafa Kemal fought against the British, revolted against this treaty. Make a long story short, he established an independent homeland for the Turks, 1/6 of the original size of the Ottoman land, but nonetheless an independent Turkish state, and he called it the Republic of Turkey. And you all know that Ataturk was of the most secular Muslims we have seen. He hated Islam with a passion, as you know, and he completely changed the entire system inside of his lands. He banned the recitation of the Qur'an in Arabic. The adhan was given in Turkish. The salah was recited in Turkish. He banned the hijab. He banned religious schools. He did so many things. And one of the acts that he did, eventually on March 3rd in 1924, he deposed the last Ottoman caliph, Abdul Majid II, and he sent him into exile. And therefore, in 1924, the Ottoman Caliphate, in fact, the Khilafah of the Muslims that had been in operation since the time of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, non-stop, continuously, even the Mongols did not destroy the Caliphate. It lived on. Even the Mongols could not get rid of the Caliphate. Well, from 1914 onwards, a series of events precipitated in the Muslim world that eventually led to the collapse of the Caliphate. And from 1924 up until our time, we have not had a caliph. Here there is a picture of the last Ottoman caliph, Abdul Majid II. And I chose a very interesting picture. I apologize about the picture of the lady, but that is his daughter by the name of Khadija. And she was his last daughter. And this is a picture taken in Paris. He went into exile in Paris. He died in 1939, I think, before World War II he died. And listen to this. This is a very interesting point of history. Very recent. In fact, their children are still alive now. Listen to this. The most powerful and richest Muslim ruler in the world was the Nizam of Hyderabad. It is estimated by modern historians that the Nizam of Hyderabad was the richest man in human history. This is what is estimated. The richest man in human history was the Nizam of Hyderabad. Because obviously, he's accruing his wealth over hundreds of years, and I think they valued it at $200 billion or something dollars. He owns jewels and whatnot, and at that time, the equivalent of $200 billion, at that time, obviously not now, he doesn't exist at the point, right? So the Nizam of Hyderabad was the richest and one of the most powerful Muslim rulers. The Ottomans had collapsed, and there was this feeling that we need a type of messianic figure. So what is to be done? Let us take the son of the Nizam of Hyderabad, seen in his, mashallah, Italian suit, if you can now go back to the picture, his handmade Italian suit over here, and his name is Himayat Ali Khan Bahadur. Himayat Ali Khan Bahadur, the son of the Nizam of Hyderabad, marries the youngest daughter of the deposed Ottoman Khalifa, and that is Khadija in the background. And it is hoped that the union of these two will bring about the Mahdi figure, if you like, or the not the Mahdi, but you get the point. The savior, right? Well, they had children, but the marriage ended in divorce, and those children are still alive to this day, but they are very far from having any role in Muslim Ummah. Let's just put it that way, okay? And it didn't quite turn out the way that the Ummah had planned.